This sucks. Really a shitty place to be as a Notre Dame fan. Catholics versus committees. That's what we're titling the show. Notre Dame gets screwed out of the playoffs. But before we get into that, we will not throw all formalities aside. I have had 12 days to think about this. And quite frankly, just lost a lot of motivation. But the playoffs start tomorrow, so we got to get this in while we can. So thank you for joining me on the Fighting Irish Faithful show. I am Joe at Faithful_Irish on the X. My follower count was really good this past couple of weeks. But this is season 6, episode 20. This is not the last episode we will do this season, but it's circling around to land the plane here for season 6. Volume 172 of all time, and nothing else matters. I mean, Notre Dame gets screwed. We will go a lot into that, and I think the playoffs are rigged. So it's such bullshit. Just quick high-level story. The way, if you were not following me on X or you didn't see some of my live posts, which I got a lot of shit from other fans and people not being very nice, but, you know, Jesus loves them anyway. Went to church, you know, we went to the store afterwards, you know, I got the kids, so wife and the baby fell asleep, so I'm like, I'll just stay in the car with the baby, and wife and toddler went into the store, get some stuff, and so I'm like, well, I'm gonna just watch the playoff show here, you know, and see where they put Notre Dame. And then when I saw that they didn't really punish Ohio State, I started getting nervous. I was like, oh shit. And then they throw Alabama in at 9 again. I'm like, fuck. And then they do it, and they put Miami in. So all that bullshit talk about, well, Miami and Notre Dame aren't settled yet. It's such bullshit. And I'm not gonna watch the playoffs. I may catch a game here or there, a little bit of highlights. We may watch a little bit of IU because we're a little IU friendly in this house with the doc, and I did live in Bloomington, for crying out loud. I don't have any personal issues with IU. I think Cignetti is a good coach, and he's an asshole, but, you know, good coaches tend to be assholes. But no, it's crazy. And, like, the funny story, and then we'll get over to Jason here. The funny thing is, I've gone back and listened to the show we did with Coach Parsegian, and I was like, oh, Notre Dame's a lockdown. Best case scenario, BYU loses big and Alabama loses big. Both those things happen, and we still are snubbed. It's fucking bullshit. It's such fucking bullshit. I am so unsatisfied. We have had a great season. We will talk about statistically why we deserve to be in as well. But also, it's like we had such promise. We were on such a high note, excelling, and the season is literally ripped away from us. And there's nothing we can do except wish our guys well in the pros and wait till the fucking spring. That's it. Like it's so unsettling, so unsatisfying. And I'm glad we're not going to a bowl game because I don't want to give ESPN any fucking money. So, all right, let's go over to some people. Irish JTL, Jason, let's go over to you, man. How you doing? You recovering a little bit?
I'm recovered. I think I saw this happening when they insulated Bama by jumping them ahead of us after the Auburn week.
Yeah.
And what's really bad about this is, had it come down to us versus Miami, and they just said Miami won the head-to-head, the resumes are almost identical, Miami gets in, I think we could all live with it.
I agree.
But I think we all saw the Bama insulation, and then there's 100% chance if we filed an antitrust lawsuit and discovery would show that they weren't going to leave the ACC out. They
Yep.
never were going to. Had
Yeah.
Virginia won, Virginia would have been in. We
Yep.
would have been in ahead of Miami.
Yep.
But instead, Duke won. So they had this.
We can't not have an
plan.
ACC team in.
Correct. And so they jumped Miami on a bye week. We've been ahead of them the entire time.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the history of that.
And then 0 hour, they jumped Miami ahead of us because they weren't going to leave a P4 conference out. The P4 conference, by the way, got won by a 7-5 fucking team. And they colluded to give the ACC an auto bid, in quotation marks, even though that's not the rules.
Correct.
And I'm not upset that we got left out because of Miami. I'm upset that Oklahoma and Alabama, who I don't think are good teams at all.
No, it's going to be a garbage
game.
Upset.
Yeah, but I'm more upset that they literally went against the rules to ensure that Miami, the 5th place team in the ACC, got in so that they didn't exclude a Power 4 conference.
Yeah, it's. I agree with you. Later in the week, I came to the same conclusion that you did there, that Virginia losing actually hurt Notre Dame. It did allow James Madison to get in, but that's not because of James Madison, right? It's because of Virginia being in would have guaranteed an ACC team represented and getting some sort of money from this. It's all about the money. And so and then look at the ACC, how they're like waving palm branches and throwing rose petals at Miami and just complete dog shitting all over Notre Dame. And we're like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, yes, you beat us head to head. We're not going to deny that. Listen to our show. We were pissed. The point is, this is all about collusion, as you just put it. Great way to describe it. And they're rigging the deck against us.
Correct.
So
had Virginia won, Miami would have been left out, and I believe undeservedly. I think Miami is one of the best 12 teams, but they rigged it and jumped Alabama ahead of us to insulate Alabama and made sure, even though there's no auto bid for the ACC, there's no way they were going to leave a Power 4 conference completely out.
Correct.
And so when Duke won, they had to jump Miami ahead of us after a bye for both of us, where neither of us had played in 2 weeks.
Right, exactly.
And that is unacceptable. It's not the result, it's the process that is unacceptable.
Yeah. I've got some Miami. I hardly like looking at Miami things, but I believe it is November 8th is the first weekend that that the official rankings came out. And we got it up here on the YouTube channel. November 8th, recall Miami had just lost to SMU on the 1st, okay? And then well, it's the week of after that, right? Then they beat Syracuse, NC State, Virginia Tech, and Pitt. Okay, fine. They are ranked 18th at the time. They go from 18 to 15 to 13 to 12 and then jump Notre Dame to 10.
Yep.
I'm like, what I don't like is at some point these people were saying, well, we have to put Miami down here in the rankings behind Notre Dame because of these 2 losses. And those 2 losses were at the time kind of fresh. Louisville on October 17th and SMU on November 1st. So the recency bias was clearly influencing that decision. Don't get me wrong. But the problem is, I've never seen 2 teams where one is always better than the other, unless some team is just like squeaking by and just looking ugly. Like that happens, okay? But Notre Dame was not doing that. We were destroying everybody, playing at a high octane level, okay? And we killed everybody, and they jump us with Miami, which I'm like, this is such bullshit. Like if they,
I knew I knew the fix was in when we went to Stanford and beat the living shit out of them, and Alabama gritted out a win against 5-7 Auburn. I mean, we beat the shit out of 4-8 Stanford.
Right.
They gutted out a win against 5-7 Auburn.
Yep.
So when they flip flopped us, the intent was we have to protect Alabama,
which is
so
stupid.
They jumped them, right? Because what they could have done after Alabama lost the title game was like, oh, maybe they're not Notre Dame. They flip-flop us, and Miami's still left out. But at the end of the day, like I said, they weren't leaving the ACC out. They were not going to leave the ACC out because it's a Power 4 conference.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And so they didn't flip-flop it. They just jumped Miami. Again, two of us that had been on a bye for 2 weeks ahead of us. And like I said, we're not mad about the result. We're mad about the process. If Miami was going to be ahead of us, do it on November 8th. Don't do it at the last hour.
Yeah. Yeah, when neither team is playing
Alabama.
Yeah. Well, and like it I'll be honest, like Miami looks like a better team than Alabama, right?
100%.
And I've got some numbers behind this. Let's see here.
Miami looks like a better team than Oklahoma. Oklahoma and Alabama are frauds. The fact that the SEC is getting 5 teams
is
with
stupid.
2 of them being completely fraudulent. Oklahoma has no offense. Their defense is good, but Alabama can't run the ball. There's 2 frauds in the SEC that are in. But all we hear is, the SEC. They're propping up Tennessee and Missouri as good wins. Right. And then they discount fucking Pitt and Navy. Pitt would probably beat Missouri.
Oh, yeah.
Navy might beat Tennessee. They're not good teams. They didn't beat a single ranked opponent.
No, it's conspiratorial, and I made a sound clip for this today. Bear with me; it's all over the place here, but this one came to mind here. Now, if I could find it, that would be great. Man, this is bad radio. I understand. Oh, here we go. Oh, that was a weird way to just describe it. Okay.
I want to be clear. I do not respect the SEC. I do not respect them.
Had to take that clip. All right. I know it's out of context here, but I do not respect the ACC. It's such bullshit. We've invited Mac to speak, and I see David here. Jimmy Joe's listening on too. So, Mac, you there, man?
Yeah, I thought Jimmy Joe too. I gotta hear Jimmy Joe. I haven't heard him
I'm
in a
here.
long time.
What's up, man?
Yeah, well, I just think
we played like shit against Stanford, and that's why we didn't make it.
Well, you know what? Here's one thing. I think Notre Dame felt comfortable against Stanford. To be honest, and the committee did that on purpose. And guess what? It changed. Like Notre Dame could have put up 60 against Stanford, but they took their foot off the pedal intentionally, I feel. But because of that, it did flip-flop the point differential between Notre Dame and Miami, coincidentally. So I'm just saying, because I think they were telling Notre Dame you had a 95% chance of getting in, but I think it's rigged. I think it's rigged against.
It is rigged
for Alabama, and here's why. In 2023, we were told that Sagarin matters, and they did all these mental gymnastics to leave FSU out, and it's the best team now, and all this and that. Well, Notre Dame beats Alabama in all.
Didn't they get curb stomped by Georgia too?
Yeah, and Notre Dame beats Bama in every statistic. And if we're talking about who's better right now, Alabama just had -3 running yards.
They're a little better than Notre Dame in a couple of stats, but we'll get to that later.
But in all the stats that the committee told us that mattered, that they're better in the AP poll, the coaches poll, and that's another thing.
Yeah,
How
that's
can the
weird.
How can the AP and coaches poll be so far off from the athletic directors? Because it's the athletic directors that are
the
making these
athletic
decisions.
directors. Yeah, it's people that are about the money and
Exactly.
propping up their
And
own
that's-
shit. Yeah, here we are.
and
So we're
ESPN
9 in the AP and 9 in the coaches poll, and
Right.
then we're a mysterious 11 in the rankings. It's such horseshit.
Right. How could that be so far off? Because don't think the athletic directors aren't intelligent in football. I mean, there's no way that they're that far off. Now the Miami
No, they
thing,
have a
I even
bias.
said it. In the Miami thing, I agreed. I said it before the rankings came out. I felt a little bit disturbed that Miami wasn't ahead of them.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. But this Alabama baloney, I mean, my gosh, this is 2 years that you've screwed teams out of it. I mean, FSU was undefeated and they lost a quarterback. Okay, well, if you're going to go by that logic of who's best now and FSU undefeated lost a quarterback, well, Ole Miss lost all their coaching staff, their whole coaching staff.
Right.
They have Charlie Weiss Jr. as their head coach,
Yeah.
and he's leaving as soon as they lose.
They have a home game
So-
against fucking Tulane. Like it's
But-
such.
But so their logic, so they went against all their logic in 2023 to make those gymnastics for Alabama just to bring Bama back in. And also this is the first and only time where a team doesn't lose rankings after getting pummeled in a championship game. You know why they did
Yep.
that? I'm going to tell you why.
Oh, okay.
Because
Here we go.
if Alabama would have fallen, then SEC teams would start getting rid of their conference games, their conference championships, and a lot would follow suit if you could get punished.
Well, I mean
And I
that's
think-
essentially what they're showing here by doing what they just did. That the conference championship games don't matter. That's what they're saying, right? And for
But-
if I
well,
had
they
a
matter-
dollar
they
for every
matter with
single
dollars and
time
cents.
I've been getting shit talked. Like everyone's argument against Notre Dame is like, oh, you suck, you lost the head to head, da 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 da, and then you start using some of these other facts and information you're talking about. They're like, well, just join a conference, and I'm like, what does that even mean? That's irrelevant to the argument here. The fact is, we were
Correct.
ranked ahead of both of these teams 3 weeks ago, and we're destroying everybody. Alabama squeaking by a not good Auburn team, which Auburn should have won the fucking game had they not fumbled. Stupid Auburn.
Oh yeah,
But
and
it's like,
strength of loss matters. Strength of loss
oh my
matters.
God.
Oh,
It just,
okay.
I don't know what that means, but what I will say is Alabama does have a good strength of schedule based off of who they've played, and they played Georgia
Strength
twice.
of your who you lose to matters.
Well,
Remember
that's
we were
fine.
told that in 23.
I guess.
Well, But who did Bama lose to, and who did Notre Dame lose to? Notre
Yeah,
Dame
such
lost to two playoff teams.
The two teams that are playing each other actually, which is crazy.
So it's rigged. It's rigged for the SEC.
Yeah,
in my
5
opinion.
teams. They got 5 teams, and
It's rigged for them.
Bama and
And-
Oklahoma.
and
I
I'm
mean,
gonna tell
Oklahoma has a good record, okay, which is fine, but they're not a good football team. Like I like if it was me, okay, here let's pull this up here. The top 4 I don't really have complaints. You know, maybe I wouldn't have the Buckeyes at number 2, but that's another topic. I would have Notre Dame at the 8, honestly, because we're a better football team than Oklahoma and Alabama, in my opinion, and that's
Right.
that's statistically based, and which we'll get into later in the show. And then
again-
I wouldn't have the Tide in there at all. Okay. Green Wave, they stay. James Madison, they stay. Right. You know, Ole Miss, yes, they have 1 loss. Fine. I would have Miami in, and then the other one, probably maybe even BYU. Right. We're kind of tossing it up there. So I don't know. Just the sheer brown nosing, ass kissing. Someone's got photos of somebody, and that's why Alabama's in there. I don't know.
I don't think that's what it is. I think if Alabama were to have lost this bid,
it's the Saban effect.
I think you might see teams in the future, and Notre Dame, who got to be stagnant and didn't move at all. I think you might see teams opt out of conference championship games, and that's not what ESPN.
You know, it's funny. I was kind of wondering if IU and Ohio State were going to do that. They were like, well, you know, this game doesn't really matter. We're both going to get a bye anyway, and like, and maybe that's why the game was like a little slower. I don't know. That's something else entirely. We'll see what happens in those other games.
How much do they make on conference championship?
Who knows? But that's the only reason why they do it. The only reason why they have a conference championship game is to make money. Okay.
Right.
Like, that's the only reason why they do it. And all these other righteous assholes, and they are assholes, are like, well, they had to play one other game, and Notre Dame had to sit on the bench because you're independent, because you're holier than thou. It's like, no, like, we're already making money already. You don't do this look, I'm not gonna have my conversation about why I do think Notre Dame should be in a conference. It has nothing to do with the situation here. It's still the same point and argument I've made from day one, which is stepping stones of success and giving confidence to your players, and the statistical fact that most of these teams that are winning the national championship game also won their conference. Okay, so it's more of a historical reflection and the momentum these teams have. Well, now that the playoffs is bigger, you know, maybe it's a different story. But with the way everything went down, was the most corrupt piece of shit I had ever seen in sports, other than maybe that one year where USC got snubbed, and there was that weird three-way tie, right? That was like 2004 or something. Like that was like the conspiracies and the failings of the BCS system. But I'll say this. They should go back to something like the BCS, where it's a function of the computers, a function of the AP, and some of these other things that all come together and then rank all the teams. I actually think take the BCS model that we had for years, and I was thinking about this too. Remember when the 4-team playoff came out, right? That was in 2014. Do you guys remember the commercial that ESPN ran? Who was in it? Sean Austin as Rudy, like giving the Gipper speech, saying like, no computers, we'll just have people sit down and rank the top 4 teams, right? And I'm like, fuck, this is like biting us in the ass right now, because now it's just a bunch of you know, money men and committee sleazy, you know, old men, crusty old men talk here. I don't know. Mac, what else you got? We got a bunch of people, I'm sure, that want to get things off their chest, and we got some people, new people, David, and I see Jimmy Joe. We haven't heard from him in forever.
Just want to say before we go, just since this is kind of the end, thank you, everybody. Thanks, Joe. You know, it's gonna be, you know, I'll still keep in touch over the off season, but you know, it's a lovely thing that I look forward to for 14 weeks throughout the season.
I do too.
Just to talk 14 Tuesdays of the year is to talk to everybody, and
Thursday now.
But anyway,
I'm with you.
Well,
I mean, what are you talking about? This is episode 20 of the season, man. What are you talking about, right?
Oh, well, God bless and happy holidays.
God bless
to
us, everyone. Well, I'm gonna wish you a Merry Christmas, but even though, because I know you're
Merry
Catholic, okay, but it's technically Advent, so happy Advent, all right.
All right, take it easy.
All right, see you, Mac. Thanks so much, David Burnside. I see you there, man. You can speak if you want, man. This is a friendly place. I don't have the reversible jacket on with Notre Dame and IU, right? So, how to piss off a Purdue person, right? Mention the reversible jacket. Coworker, you there?
Hey, Joe, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, happy holidays, sir.
Yeah,
hopefully your year's been going well. Long time no talk.
Yeah, I'm still doing my thing. And so everyone, there's a coworker of mine, but he's also new to football because he's an IU fan. who just started learning to play football last year, right? But here they are, number one in the country. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I had to talk to my Ohio State buddy because I didn't know how to register for tickets for the Big Ten championship.
Was it
How do you guys do this?
Was it right? Was it my manager?
It might have been, right?
my boss is a Buckeye, which is but it's one of those things where it's
Anyway.
like Notre Dame hasn't beaten Ohio State since like the fucking 30s, so like give me a break here. So David, what's up, man? You're not a Notre Dame fan per se, but you are a pretty logical, reasonable person because I know you at work and we've had a few beers outside of work. So what's up, man? Give me your
Hey, I had
your
a
thoughts.
take for you. I had a take for you. I was kind of hoping I might get your opinion on. And it's kind of in the vein of, I get that Notre Dame got snubbed and it's tough. I didn't make the decision, but I was kind of thinking and talking to some
But you
buddies,
can have an opinion.
Right. Is Notre Dame not making it possibly a good thing for like the organization and the brand? And maybe where I'm coming from with this situation is, I get you guys got snubbed and like maybe you guys should have been in over Alabama when, like you can definitely like, debate the hell out of that. But like it's still a 9 seed at the end of the day. It's still going to be a tough game against Oklahoma, right? Probably at Oklahoma, right? So that's going to be a tough win. And I mean, then you're going to go to
it's a tough place. I will say that.
Yeah, and then you're going to go play like let's say you win, right? And that's going to be a tough fight. And then you go play IU at a neutral site who just beat Ohio State.
It's the Rose Bowl.
Right. I don't know. I mean, is there something to be said about Marcus Freeman not having the hey, I'm regressing in year 2 of coaching or year 3 of coaching?
Well, it's year 4, but the no, because look at the trajectory that Notre Dame is now. I think a couple things, and I'll throw it back to you. One, what's more annoying for us Notre Dame fans is the fact that we just look so shitty at the beginning of the year. We always lose our first home game, it seems, right? To fucking Marshall and Texas A&M this year and shit like that. Okay, NIU last year, right? It's like give me a fucking break. So that's one. All right, but then we tend to look really really good in November, which is a fact. Then you've got IU, who is playing excellent football. I said weeks ago that like them, the Buckeyes, and maybe Texas Tech are the only 3 that actually make me nervous in this whole field. Okay, so I will concede that IU is playing excellent football and looks great. As far as your question about the brand of Notre Dame and some of this other stuff, I don't think it does us any disservice by any means. I think what it is, the fact that it is Notre Dame becomes a talking point among the media, and it's so funny. Everyone goes from the Notre Dame controversy, and then all of a sudden Michigan has their grease fire going on up there. So that was kind of funny to witness as well. When Notre Dame fans and Sparty and Bucknuts all are like, oh, what's going on over there up in Ann Arbor? Who's a whore? But anyway, I don't think it does us any disservice to the brand. Kind of. I'm not really sure where you're going with that question, but I think that Notre Dame has the ability to just to navigate things, and to make the best of a situation. Hopefully. In this case, I actually agree. Let me say one thing, and I'll throw it back to you. I always like watching Notre Dame football, and if they went to a bowl game, I would clearly watch it. However, this year, with the way Notre Dame was believed to have been in for weeks, ever since when this first playoff ranking came out, we were like 10 or something. And then all of a sudden, in the last possible moment, they do the old switcheroo on us. I'm like, well, what the fuck? And so that irritates me that essentially Notre Dame is being lied to, it appears, okay? And then they put Alabama in. I've never seen teams flip-flop like what they did with Notre Dame and Miami, because 5 weeks previous, they knew that Notre Dame was better or higher ranked than Miami, and then nothing changes in some of that stuff, and now all of a sudden Miami is better than Notre Dame at the last minute. So So I'm okay with Notre Dame not going to the Pop-Tarts Bowl or wherever the fuck they were going to go. Because quite frankly, it's more money for ESPN and their viewership, and the rankings are gonna suck. The ratings will suck this year, because I and anyone who I think is objective about the situation has to at least question the methodologies that went down this last week of these rankings. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
I hear your point, and I guess my question to you, Joe, is, is Notre Dame there to make the playoff or to win the championship?
Well, they're to win the championship, of course. Absolutely. Championship is the goal.
I mean, you how many times the table against Oklahoma and then Indiana and then Texas Tech and then Ohio State?
Yes.
You think you could have beaten them all?
Well, okay. That's what would happen. I mean, we got pretty damn close last year, didn't we?
They were healthy finally.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's a great point that Max made.
Our offense is. You said yourself you've always been rounding out the top 10 this whole season, right? And so now you're saying that you're going to beat
because we started with 2 losses. It's based off of record, and record does trump everything. All right, so if there's the glaring fact is that Notre Dame had 2 losses and started the season 0-2, which was horrible. Okay, so we are what our record is. Okay, the people who make these decisions say, look, Okay, and if you stay on, I'll go through statistics of why I mean, you've heard me bitch about this in the office many times, all right? Stats of champions. Where is Notre Dame relative to the national champion in said statistic, okay? And where are they in the important ones, okay? We will break that down. Notre Dame versus everybody else in this field. Not Tulane and James Madison. Who cares? They're not going to win. If they did, that would be kind of funny. Maybe Tulane's got a chance at Ole Miss because of situation down at Ole Miss, but that's something else.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
Joe,
go ahead,
quick?
Mac. Throw rocks at David.
When Notre Dame lost to Texas A&M in Miami, basically their whole defensive backfield that was destined to go pro were hurt. They didn't get healthy till week 5.
Yeah.
And then they were able to change. That's why they were better at late. They changed their scheme.
Yeah, the defensive scheme completely changed.
Because they had all their guys back. And when they played Indiana last year, they were a year younger, too. So, I mean, I definitely think that they had a chance to run the table. And same with when they played Georgia. So, because they would have had all the guys that were going pro in their defensive backfield were finally back. And they only lost by a field goal and a missed extra point against Miami and Texas A&M. So that says something when you were playing with basically your second string defense.
Yeah. Well, and to that point, right now, some of this, my if I had to, there's one statistic that I like talking about, right? It's yards per point. Okay, Notre Dame's yards per point going into that IU game was 10.6. Okay, so pretty good, pretty efficient offense. What it is today, or was, is 10.9. Okay, so still really good. David, do you know where IU is in yards per point? They're one of the best.
I don't.
They are 11.3. They are technically less efficient on offense than Notre Dame. In fact, and we will bring this up here for anyone who's on the YouTube channel. We have Notre Dame clearly is the blue and gold row here. IU, offensive yards per point, 11.3. They are tied with powerhouse Texas Tech, also at 11.3. The colors you all are seeing here on YouTube, the colors mean that Notre Dame is better than that team in that particular category. So all the green means Notre Dame is better. Red means the other team is better. You'll see here, every single team, including the national champion over the last 10 years, is worse than Notre Dame. Notre Dame is excelling and better than everybody in this playoff field and better than the national champion in yards per point. I will go further to say that, yes, IU is ranked 2 in Sagarin. Ohio State is still 1, which is funny. Notre Dame is third in Sagarin. And Notre Dame has a better strength of schedule than IU. IU's got a strength of schedule of 42, Notre Dame 36. Okay. Texas Tech and Ole Miss are also worse than Notre Dame. Okay. So I don't to back to your question, does Notre Dame have the ability to run the table? Yes. Because we have the two best running backs in the country, the best running back duo in the country. We had a guy who is a Heisman fucking finalist, or I think he got third in the voting or whatever. I did watch that just because, one of our guys is up there, so I want to show support to him. But as soon as they announced Mendoza, and respect to Mendoza, he's done well this year. But it's like, okay, I'll turn this off. Right, I'll wait for the Boise State game, who then got their ass kicked by Washington. So it's been a rough week for me. All right, David, you still there?
No, I'm still here. I hear your points. I'm just, is it the end all be all? Maybe, right?
We'll never know, right?
I think it would have been a tough uphill battle for.
Well, absolutely. When you start in the back there, absolutely, and I mean, look, if Notre Dame was undefeated, we'd be probably ranked first or second in the country. Okay, probably second. Okay, and then we'd have a bye, right? That's one less elimination game that we have to play. That's another reason why I like going undefeated and potentially joining a conference, right? You win a conference, they're not automatic bids, but that being said, what I said this earlier in the show, and I'll say it to you, and then I'll throw it back to you. I said this earlier in the show. Notre Dame was playing at a very high level, destroying teams by 30 points, right? We beat the shit out of Syracuse, okay? It was quite enjoyable to watch. This team is like hungry for more. It seems they're destined for more. They have the ability to do more, and the roster is healthy too, quite frankly. We're not like limping along here across the finish line, okay? And then our season is literally ripped away from us by this playoff committee. And it's like, well, what the fuck? And that's my problem, is this is probably the best Notre Dame team I have seen in a very long time, and we don't actually get to see what they can do. That's that. Hopefully.
I don't know, Joe. I mean, that's quite a hypothetical, right? Better than the Heisman or the national championship runner-up from last year? I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we were injured as hell, and Ohio State, played really well. I mean, we looked good on our first drive. We ate clock like no other. I don't think that was a sustainable model. Defense could not stop Ohio State. Ohio State did well. Notre Dame was fighting back. I think we got within like 8 or something, right? And then, they throw a deep bomb in the fourth quarter, and it's like, okay, that kills it, right? It's kind of out of reach at that point. So Notre Dame was clawing and fighting back, last year, but I mean, look, the Penn State game was good. The Georgia game was good. The IU game was good, right? Like, we won 2 New Year's Sixes, something that Notre Dame hadn't done since 1994, January of 94, so we were, really happy on this show. Yeah, I mean, like, it's not all hypotheticals. I mean, it is now, right? But what we talk about is data, and we'll go into the stats, soon here about why I think Notre Dame got jobbed and why statistically I think Notre Dame would have done well in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, they're a good team. So I mean, it's a shame they didn't get in. So
BYU's a good team. Our one of our coworkers who's a BYU guy, I think he's an alum or whatever. I was chatting with him yesterday in the office, and he's like, they have 2 losses, fair, but to the number 4 team, Texas Tech. All right, so they lost to the same team twice. Okay, and they get punished. It's like they didn't lose to bad teams. And he's like, what's the deal with Alabama or even Miami? Miami has 2 bad losses they have 2 losses to a good team. Like and they get punished. So, I mean, BYU's got some other issues statistically, right? But they're not looking at that, right? They have their favorites, and it's clearly Alabama, and they need an ACC team, so we're gonna put Miami in, and that's a fact. That's what they did. All right, David. Anything else?
No, it's been good talking.
Yeah,
I enjoy
it's
talking
good to talk
sports,
to you.
so.
We'll have to catch up one of these days.
Yeah, after the holiday.
Yeah, well, yeah, I will not be going into the office the rest of the year. I will be working from home the rest of the year. So, David Burnside, thank you so much at David Burnside 14 on the X. Have a good Christmas. Thank you, coworker. All right, Jimmy Joe, it's been a while. We'll invite you to speak. It's been a minute for Jimmy Joe, and I see Coach Parsegian. And of course, obviously, if we die, if the space dies, Coach Parsegian's gonna probably have to call me. Jimmy Joe, are you there?
Hello, Mr. Irishman. I miss talking with you.
Jimmy Joe, you have been greatly missed as well.
Oh, that's good. But I'm so busy with church and singing, and it's my practice is on Tuesdays, and I can't be on my phone and sing.
Understood. Yeah, that might throw off your. Yeah, I'm with you there. Well, we're happy that you are here. Tuesday is kind of like worked out with work and just kind of we've kind of worn ourselves well into that seat. So we're happy there. What we haven't talked in forever, Jimmy Joe, and I'm sorry about the circumstances that it's Catholics versus committees. It would be fun if we were doing a pre-game show here about Notre Dame going to Norman or something and playing Oklahoma.
Well, I have an observation.
Go for it.
I can always tell. I mean, you're always passionate, about our boys. But, boy, sometimes with the language, I know you're really passionate now.
I mean, I'm not dropping GD blast or anything, but I'm not going to say this doesn't effing suck, right? Because it does.
Well, our Mary, our mother, our Notre Dame.
Mary is pissed.
Okay. She's very mad at this.
Mary is like, what?
And I am also very mad. And I don't know all these things like you're very involved with sophisticated about this, and I don't know. I just like to see our boys win. And when you get down to it, we have to always win.
Yeah.
And,
I mean that's great. We wouldn't even be in this situation if we had one loss or no losses, right?
Okay, I have a saying we should start, and the letter is RTSU. Do you know what that means?
RTSU. Hold on. Run the score up.
Run the score up.
Run the score up.
You have to kill them. RTSU. Run the score up.
Run the effing score up.
RTFSU? Oh, no. Run the score up. RTSU.
RTSU. Run the score up.
You can't lose any games, and every game.
Leave no doubt. I've heard that one too. Leave no doubt.
In those 2 posts, we can't miss our kicks.
In the field goal kicking. We need to get the Hawaiian kicker. That guy, I think he's technically Japanese, but the guy from Hawaii, we need to get him to transfer to Notre Dame, man.
Oh.
Have you heard this guy? We actually talked about. The guy is like perfect from kicking field goals, and it's like, dude, just get this guy.
You mean like if you're stuck like on the 50-yard line? Okay, we'll just hit one in there.
Yeah, well, I don't know what his leg strength is. I haven't done that calculus there on all that, but I will say this: the Hawaiian kicker is legit. So if we can get him to transfer to Notre Dame, I'd be down with that. Well, all right, so we need to run the score up. We need to leave no doubt next season. Do you have any thoughts about the Notre Dame getting jobbed in the playoffs here? Or?
No, I don't. I just know I'm disappointed because
Do you
I
think
like
Notre
to watch
Dame needs
the
to join a
game.
conference now?
Now,
We've been getting that
if you
bullshit.
win all the games, you can stick those people in the noses,
Stick them in the
and you don't
noses.
have to worry.
Like what are we, like an actual stick in the nose? Like
No, well, that's a figure of speech.
stick
That
them in the
means like
nose.
what that means is you don't give anybody any excuses for not picking you at the top if you win all the game.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. It's like the other situations where Notre Dame was in the like last year we had one loss, okay, and we hosted a game against IU, right? We did pretty well there. I think we were like a 7, right? So 7-10. Okay, and then the other times we made the playoffs, obviously in 2020 we were undefeated in the regular season, and then I mean we did lose in the conference championship game to Clemson, and then but we lost Alabama. We weren't going to win that game, right? And I was flat out said we needed a miracle from heaven for us to beat Alabama because that was a really, really good Alabama team. And ended up winning the Natty anyway. And then 2018, we went undefeated. And then I still had rose-colored glasses, I think, at that point. But again, we were there because we were undefeated in 2018. And then go to 2012. What happened that year? We're undefeated, right? So you're 100% right. The record trumps all of this, okay? Notre Dame had 2 losses at the beginning. That's really hard to overcome. And then you take into account the rest of these teams, and it's kind of a weird season. Like BYU was really good. Texas Tech, are you kidding me? 11-1. I mean, good job, Texas Tech. Virginia was 10-2, which is crazy. And then you've got, Oregon kept winning 11-1. IU football, hell's freezing over. That's for sure. They're number 1 in the country and 13-0. The hell? Ole Miss kept winning. They don't even have a coach anymore, and they're 11-1. Texas A&M kept winning. Like all these things kind of worked against Notre Dame. Where it'd be funny to look at like the past 5 years, how many teams had like 1 loss. Okay, and where did they end up or something? Like it seems really high, and some of these teams are uncharacteristic, and so it's like, well, we got to put them in, right? Because they only have 1 loss, right?
Well, I have a question.
I mean, Vanderbilt is good this year, 10-2. Vanderbilt, what the hell? Weird.
Yeah, how important is it that what the coach says to the boys? Because I can only imagine what did he say to the IU players last year when we beat them, and then they come back and they are so good.
Well, Signetti has been good. I'm not deeply involved in what IU is doing. I can say statistically that they are putting up excellent numbers. What I think is most fascinating about IU, we could probably do this on the fly here. It'll take a couple minutes to do this. But if we pulled up, I wanted to do this actually. Let's see if we can. Let's jump to 2025. Indiana this past year, they just went to the playoffs, right?
Yes.
All right, here we're on 24/7 Sports. We're on recruiting. We're looking at Indiana football recruiting. Okay, not basketball, football. Okay, they were composite 49. Okay, that's after winning a playoff game. All right, so they're 49, and then they were 66 in 2024. 2023, it's loading, 68. So the past 3 years, they're like in the 50s from a recruiting talent standpoint. That I think is, now they've done well in the transfer portal, right? Like they were 19th in 2023. They were 30th. Okay, that's not great, but it's not bad either. And they were 25 in the transfer portal, in this past year. So it's like the thing that makes Signetti special and IU, what moves the needle for me is it's not like they went out and just bought a bunch of players that were all 5 stars. No. there's actually a good coach there that is harnessing the talent that he has, which is only going to get better with them keep continuing to win. Okay, Bloomington is a cool college town. It's south of Indy, about an hour, right? But it's a cool college town. IU is a legit university, and it's a big place. It's got a lot of history. It's got the basketball team. And other stuff is it's not a bad place. It's really not. I live there. They're just gonna get better. With Cignetti, and if I love Marcus Freeman, don't want him to go, obviously. I've got the wagon hitched.
Going somewhere?
No, there was some bullshit that he was going to take the Giants job. That's not going to happen. Anyone who said that is blowing smoke. But for whatever, say if Marcus Freeman in some weird situation was not our coach, I would want Cignetti. I would, because he has demonstrated success, and he's killing it right now with the talent he has. Put him in a place like Notre Dame with all the resources and the talent that Notre Dame attracts just because it's Notre Dame. Good God. That's great, So.
Okay. Well, I'm very happy that you have this podcast. I'm so sorry that I can't be on it often.
Well, I'm happy that you're back, Jimmy Joe. We'll do two more. We're doing this one, and then we'll probably do one after all this playoff stuff. I think we're gonna. I'll be honest. I did hurt myself with a kitchen knife, not because I was depressed, because it was just carelessness. Had to get stitches, so that's why we didn't do a show last week Tuesday. But then it's like, well, the statistics aren't right, and it's been a couple busy days of work, and I'll be honest, haven't really been motivated to do it. Just been kind of grieving and just being angry, and
you motivate me, and when we started this, when my friend Raj told me about Notre Dame, and to be a good Catholic, you have to follow, the Notre Dame people. My wife, Mrs. Jimmy Joe.
Jimmy Joe.
Oh yeah. But now I think the missus here, I think she's liking football.
Mrs. Jimmy Joe's like football. Well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad that the university. See, and that's I think you don't get that at IU, right? Sorry, David Burnside. He's not on anymore. But there's so many more avenues to Notre Dame than any other university. Whether you're Catholic or you're Irish or you grew up in Indiana or from the Midwest or you had a buddy that went there or just, whatever.
Or you like the movie Rudy.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like the whole point is there's so many more avenues for someone to be a Notre Dame fan. And I'll say this, because I was getting shit on Twitter the last 2 weeks. Okay. Ever since Notre Dame went out, and got snubbed, got jobbed, got screwed out of the playoffs, right? I'm trying to use facts and data while still, grieving and emoting in social media. That's what you do. All these people, and then I could tell when people are like, who the hell is this guy? And they go check my profile and they see Notre Dame football, Gonzaga basketball, and then they think I'm just some, homer for these teams. And it's really rubbed me really wrong when people start and throwing rocks at me for that. I have discovered that my trigger, the thing, like people are saying nasty things to me or whatever, Jesus loves them too. And I kind of just chuckle at it and just kind of shake the dust off. It doesn't feel good, but it's also like these people are sick in the head. But I have discovered the thing that triggers me is my degrees. If people question why I'm a Gonzaga fan or a Notre Dame fan, I mean, I was a Notre Dame fan always my whole life. Jimmy Joe, as you know, right? But I went to school there. Okay, so I feel like I got a little bit more skin in the game, and can have walked that place and know that it A is special and B is hard as hell, okay? And that degree was earned, okay? With literally blood, sweat, and tears, Okay, it was very, very difficult. And so I'm proud to be on the outside of that, right? And actually have a job, right? Hooray. Point is, I've discovered that when people question that kind of stuff about me or throw those kind of claims because they're stupid, that has been like the triggering point for me, is telling people to go fly a kite because I went to school there and they don't know what they're talking about. So I had to tell one guy, like, I think I said something to the effect of, like, I have a master's in engineering from Notre Dame, fucker. Like, that's literally, I don't think I said it exactly that way, but I was like, you need to shut the hell up right now because you have no idea what you're talking about. And I think he did apologize and sidestep, but it's just like, give me a break.
We have to say a rosary to Mary for that man and all the other people that are so mean to you and mean to Notre
It's not
Dame
just
fans.
me. It's like the Notre Dame hate has been crazy. Like the people who are not logical and cannot admit that Notre Dame got screwed or even question the methods. Like, if you don't want to admit that Notre Dame got screwed, can you at least question the methods of what happened in this last final ranking? Can you at least do that? Because it's so unprecedented to anything we have ever seen before, okay? It's not like they're flying off the handles and they have these wild card random things, okay? No. Anyone who is not admitting that Notre Dame got screwed or even doesn't even want to question what the committee did, either just flat out hates Notre Dame, okay, is a Alabama homer or just a Miami homer, right? And it really sucks because I hate Miami so much, and to see them jump ahead of us was so infuriating. And I'm like, I can't believe they fucking did it. So,
oh boy,
and then the classic. Oh, you should join a conference is what you get. I'm like, dude, if I had $1 for every time I joined a conference, I'll say this: I was kind of wondering if a opposing fan was going to come on. The Notre Dame needs to join a conference argument, and everyone has the permission to say this, okay? Anytime anyone says Notre Dame needs to join the conference, that is the same argument of Europe or the rest of the world telling the United States you need to adopt the metric system. It ain't going to happen, and it does no good, okay? It has no benefit other than conformity and just peer pressure and giving in, okay? The real reason why people join conferences is money. It's money, okay? And you people, you're like I saw a graphic on Twitter, and it was something like the viewership of ACC games, and it was like 1 million, less than 1 million, no more than 2 or 3 million people watching these games, right? But that same team, the week they play Notre Dame, it jumps up to like 7 million, 10 million, for the Miami game or whatever. And it's like, yeah, then the next week when Miami's playing, fucking, pick a school, Boston College or something, I don't even know who. There's no one there. No one's watching the game. The stadium isn't full. It's like that doesn't mean that your fans really love your team. No, you hate Notre Dame and you want to see your team, Miami, play a big Notre Dame team, right? Because it's Notre Dame and we have a history with them. And honestly, I would love to play Miami every year. Honestly, I hate that team. I'd love to play them every year. So I hear Mrs. Jimmy Joe in the background. All right, Jimmy Joe, anything else there?
Oh no.
Otherwise, we're going to go over to Coach Barsegian.
Are people going to go and jump on the bandwagon next year and really make sure that we RTSU
run the score up? I love it. It sounds kind of like RTDB. I kind of like it. So.
Okay, is that going to hurt recruiting? People not coming to Notre Dame because they're going to think, well, Notre Dame is
Notre Dame got third ranked class.
Oh.
Well, that's 2025. Let's pull up 2026 here. Notre Dame, 4. Okay, so per 24/7 Sports, Notre Dame has 4 5 stars, 19 4 stars, 4 3 stars. Okay, and we ended up 4th. USC suspiciously is number 1. I still don't understand that. Bama too, fine. It's Alabama. They get special treatment. Oregon, okay, legit place. All right. I don't know about Eugene. It seems like a shitty place to live, but I don't know. Bloomington's better probably, because then you're like an hour from Indy. Give me a break, right? And then like Louisville's like 2 hours away. Like, fine. I don't know.
Well, thank you so much for all that you do, and we'll be watching.
Thanks, Jimmy Joe.
If it's not Tuesday.
It's not Tuesday. Today is Thursday, all day. Well, we only have a couple more hours.
Namaste,
Jimmy Joe. Hey, Jimmy Joe, you have a good rest of your Advent and a Merry Christmas coming up.
Yes, Merry Christmas to you too.
Amen.
And your missus.
Thank you, Jimmy Joe. Great to have you back on the show, Jimmy Joe. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Namaste. Let's see here. Let's go to Coach Airpar CJN. Been on from the beginning. Thank you so much for your patience, Coach. We had a bunch of people there that are new or were on before you. So, but also you're very loyal. So, we have missed everybody's walk-up music except yours. What's up, Coach?
You messaged our super secret group chat earlier. It was like, we're podcasting tonight.
Yep.
I look at my calendar. I look back at your message. I looked at the calendar again. It's like, you're like 3 weeks late.
It's more like 2, but yeah.
I know you had issues. You tried to cut your thumb off.
I did not try. I was trying to be a good husband and cook dinner. And I'm literally like 3 nights. Okay, here's. Let me back up. All right, for people on YouTube, I don't know if you can see this. It just looks all scabbed over here. 5 stitches in my left thumb. Fortunately, I'm right-handed. So, and where it is on my thumb, it does not impact use of the keyboard. So, hooray! No inefficiencies with work. It's just more of an annoying thing. So, Tuesday last week, it's a couple days after this fucking playoff, shit fest went down. Wife was not having a good day or whatever. I'm like, hey, what do you want to do for dinner? She's like, I don't know. I was going to make like pasta or reheat some crap. And I'm just like, or I could just take the boys, give you 5 minutes at home or whatever. Me and the boys will go to the store. We'll get some steaks and we'll come back. And she's like, I love it. So I'm just trying to be a decent husband, make a night. And I just wanted steak, quite frankly. But simultaneously, like legitimately wanted to cook steak, cook for the wife, have a nice meal with the family. And I had sauteed the beans. The steaks were resting, and the rosemary potatoes were in the oven, keeping warm. They were already cooked, ready to go. And I'm cutting up some of the green beans for the boys, so they're not massive, right? So they're more bite-sized pieces for them. And I'm like 3 knife strokes away from being done and saying, all right, dinner's ready, and loading things up on plates, and here we go. And I fucking cut my left thumb with the chef's knife because I didn't have it tucked behind, the fingers or whatever. So that's my bad. And so then I drove myself to get stitches. So
did you let your son ever watch Pokemon?
We let him watch 1 episode, and now like we're in the store or out and about, and he sees Pikachu, and he's like, Pikachu. I'm like, you watched 1 episode? Like,
it's just begun.
I know. I really wish it was like DuckTales or Ninja Turtles, but because I never watched Pokemon, and I'm like, I'm not anti-Pokemon, but I'm also not like.
You're anti-buying the cards for him. I know that. Which I mean, I can sympathize.
Because I see the stress it causes you. That's.
Oh, that's just trying to pick which box I want. So.
Right. Yeah. All right, Coach. Notre Dame clearly got screwed. How many times have you been told that Notre Dame needs to join a conference? Let's talk about that. No.
Just on Twitter alone.
Jeez Louise.
More than I could. If I had monetization now, oh, dude. I could produce your show.
Yeah.
As many times as I heard, join a conference.
Join a conference, you pussies.
All bots that run around on Twitter.
Yeah.
Shilling for the SEC and whatnot.
These people are also porch pirates by day. So, and Twitter box
But
by
you
night.
are 100% correct. This whole thing, and I said this in a video in our super secret group chat. It is about money. That is
It is
the
a
only
money
reason
thing.
Notre
Yep.
Dame got shafted. Yeah, kinda. You can. The committee kind of made the excuse. This is just how it happened to fall with the rankings. But we all know that's BS. I think it was Reese Davis of all people, an Alabama grad, grilling Hunter Yurachek, trying to get answers. Why did you do this way? And he just rambled.
Reese Davis I went to Alabama. I didn't know that.
Yes, he's actually from my high school.
No shit.
So, yeah, Hunter Yurachek just did not make any sense in his answers. Stumbling and
Because
fumbling.
it doesn't make sense. Here, there's a
No,
graphic.
it doesn't.
Here's a graphic I want to show. This is a good segue here. So I saw this graphic on Twitter. I found it again today. Wanted to share it here with our people on YouTube. This is the last 3 years looking at the loser of the conference championship game. All right. So
I think it's Alabama and TCU are the only two that have never moved.
So TCU, did they? Well, 2020. I'm looking. I went. This graphic only went back to 2023. So that's as far as I went. Ohio State, they drop 1, makes sense. BYU drops 1. They get their ass kicked. Fine. Ohio State was a close game. Fine. Virginia goes into overtime to a fucking Duke and drops 2, but Duke is not good, right? So, and that's what screwed us, I think. I'm kind of with Irish JTL there. So. Well, that's fine. I'm going to skip everybody who is not a Power 5 team, so who cares about North Texas? SMU last year, they dropped 2, but they still made the playoffs. Penn State last year drops 1. Iowa State drops 2. Texas last year drops 1. Louisville drops 1. Iowa drops 1. Oklahoma State drops 2. Oregon drops 3. 2023 Georgia drops 5. Okay. The point is, going through these Power 4 teams, okay, there are 12 occurrences, minus Alabama, where they lose their conference championship game. At least they drop 1. The worst was Georgia. They dropped 5. The average is minus 1.8, 1 to 2 spaces. So basically, Alabama should have dropped at least 1. And nothing happens. It's the only time. Like, they got their ass kicked by about the same ass kicking that BYU did. And BYU drops, but Alabama doesn't? Are you out of your fucking mind?
This is where I say, and we talked about it that week leading up to the Stanford game. We needed Georgia to dominate, and we needed Texas Tech to dominate.
And they did.
Minimum. And Notre Dame to soundly beat Stanford.
And we did. We did all of that. The best case scenario, last week, we were kind of like, oh, fuck, they moved Alabama in front of us because of the Auburn, grit out win against tough Auburn. Fuck that.
You weren't the only one saying that. It was all over Twitter.
Everybody was saying that.
Dominance from everybody, and it happened.
It's really reassuring when you see people like Malik Zaire, Robbie Toma, even Manti Te'o goes out there and is trading jabs with what's his face, Steve's, what's his name, the loud guy.
Smith.
Yeah, Steve Smith. Even Manti's out there. Our athletic director, like, everybody's out there doing this shit, and it's like, you guys are out of your fucking minds. I saw One Foot Down, so respect to them. I saw, like, someone was like, some asshole, probably some Ohio State fan was like, man, Notre Dame is just a bunch of softies and miserable pricks and da-da-da-da, and they just crying white babies, da-da-da-da. And One Foot Down just took a picture of, like, a hotel room chair, and they said, take a seat. I was like, what a strong way to double down. So well done, One Foot Down. Thank you. That's why I actually do like reading your stuff. You guys have good stuff over there at One Foot Down. But the point is, like, everybody is like, no, this is bullshit. This is fucking bullshit. And there's nothing we can do about it, which is so irritating. It's just, I mean, we're yelling at a cloud on this episode. And I said that to people at work. People are like on Monday when I went into work, my boss sent me a text the night before, like, hey, sorry about Notre Dame. And I said, yeah, it's not good, but I'm going to do my best not to talk about it at work because I don't think I can remain professional. And so I did not talk about it at work. Someone wants to talk to me, I'll be polite and say a few things, but I was like very reserved at work and kind of just in my thoughts and you know, my psycho space on X, you know, throwing rocks at other assholes. So,
but it's just we needed total dominance across the board, and we got it. I think the committee,
the show you and I did, we were like best case scenario,
yes.
Georgia kicks ass, and Texas Tech kicks ass. Notre Dame's definitely in. That happened, and we don't make it. It's such bullshit. I guess we overlooked the complexities of Virginia losing to shitty BYU, and how they would have to have an ACC team in.
To save you from repeating that everything other people have already said, it's kind of like I think the committee saw, because I mean, who would have thought that Texas Tech was going to soundly dominate a decent BYU team?
Yeah,
in
BYU's
similar
decent.
fashion.
They're decent.
And who'd have thought Georgia would have dominated the way they did against a decent Alabama team? Overrated significantly, but a decent Alabama team as they usually are.
They're decent, yeah. I'm not saying Alabama's dog shit. I'm just like they're decent.
But
they shouldn't be ranked ahead of Notre Dame. I'll fucking say that.
The stars aligned, and the committee thought, "Oh shit." They did not expect it to happen that way, so it's like, okay, we have to screw them because of money. Look at what Notre Dame did last year.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, by themselves, losing in the national title, brought home far more money than a single conference did.
Jeez.
After splitting it with the rest of the conference.
That's right.
Being mostly the Big Ten for how deep Ohio State went. Notre Dame still leaps and bounds pulled in more dollars.
Oh, yeah.
Single conference. And, I mean, how do you think 5 SEC teams just happened to get in? They had to save their moneymaker in the SEC for ESPN and screw Notre Dame because they cannot let this happen again. If Notre Dame joins a conference, ESPN wins.
Right. Well, and I've said for years that ESPN is the problem with college sports. I doubt NIL would have ever been a thing if ESPN wasn't ingrained in everybody's fucking mind, you know, with respect to college sports, right? And like, I don't want to be too much of an asshole, but because of ESPN, we can watch all these teams, right? So fair. Okay, but like Notre Dame was doing that anyway on NBC with the home games, right? So
it'd be hilarious if the E and EA Sports that started all this NIL scandal was ESPN.
Interesting.
Just a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Food.
It's really bizarre, and it just really sucks because like I said, this Notre Dame season, I'm not going to use the metaphor I want to use because it's really inappropriate. But the season was ripped away from us. It was viable. It was pumping on all cylinders. We're beating the shit out of Syracuse, just embarrassing Stanford, you know, while they're limping through the rest of their season. And we got a healthy team. You know, Love's going to the Heisman, you know, situation, and then the season is ripped away from us. And it's like, it's so unsatisfying and so unsettling. And it's like, what? Like that's how it ends? Like, I will say this. Yeah. I stayed up till like 2 a.m. watching that Stanford game, which was not a great game to watch. I'll tell you what, I'm so glad I did. Like let's go back.
Yeah.
imagine if you were told before that game, hey, by the way, this is the last time you're going to watch Notre Dame this season. I am so fucking glad I stayed up and watched that game.
So am I.
So, and it makes it worth it now. It makes it worth it. Now, what's funny is jokes aside, the wife was like, well, she's like, can we cheer for IU? I'm like, yeah, we could cheer for IU. That's fine. Like, I don't hate IU, right? I actually like.
I do.
That's fine. You can hate IU. I think their fans are a little like they need to be put in their place a little bit, but like they are winning and they are undefeated, right? They're the only undefeated team in college football, right? So you know, yeah, they can talk some shit.
Mostly because Signetti is acting like he's holier than thou just because he's got.
I'm okay with him being an asshole. I actually am. I think you want your coach to be defending his position and his team. And I think IU was very smart after the Franklin situation.
He hasn't trash talked near as much as he did last year, though.
Well, because he's now he has to put his money where his mouth is, right? Like now you're in the playoffs, man. You're going to the fucking Rose Bowl. You're going to the granddaddy of them all, right? And you're gonna play either Alabama or Oklahoma. Okay, those are two teams that have won multiple titles, right? Like you need to. You've got to take care of business when it matters in a playoff game. Okay. Yes, you won the Big Ten. Congratulations. Respect. Okay. And I'm not trying to like throw rocks at IU, right? Because I think they'll win the game, whoever they play. All right. They are statistically far superior than both of those teams. And with respect to the stats, there, let's jump to this. It'll be a quick preview, and then we'll go and preface this. From a stat ranking here, not only are they number 2 in Sagarin, number 1 in the college football playoffs, they're number 1 in the stat ranking I did here. Okay, so IU should be taken serious by other teams. The point is, does Signetti and this IU football team, are they prepared to go to the Rose Bowl and play Alabama or Oklahoma? And I don't know the answer to that, and I want them to win. So, it's the Rose Bowl. Maybe we'll probably watch a little bit of that game. Okay. Boise got their ass kicked, so that sucked. I was not happy with that. So
what pisses me off the most, and as much hell as especially me, but a lot of other people, but especially me, gave him over the season, and a lot of it deservingly so, based off of how we started. We never will know. Like, I can't say all is forgiven for Chris Ash.
Oh, for Ash? I know, right? Yeah.
Like,
he's probably going to be back, right?
Oh, yeah, but I was hoping he would prove me wrong, but we're never going to get to know that.
Yeah.
We have to wait till next year when we have for the most part, an entirely new squad because
I'm gonna make a note here for next week here. Hold on a second. We'll do notes here. Do Chris, Ash, and defense. Because like here's the deal. So we're gonna do one more show after this, and it'll be after the Natty. And we'll try to do our usual thing with 5 Foot Nothing Pod. Okay, we'll if we have to go down to fucking Texas and have an intervention and kidnap him, so be it.
You got to pull him away from the travel ball tournament.
I know, right? Like, good God. Like, but anyway, so we'll work around his schedule, okay? But no, Chris, Ash, and the defense, and I want to compare, because I've said this multiple times, this is one of the best Notre Dame football teams I've seen in a while. Statistically, I know on offense we are better than last year, okay? Bar none, okay? Thank God for General Carr and 2 great running backs that are excelling. And the O-line is actually better this year. So the offense is doing well. And we said earlier in the show that Notre Dame's yards per point was the best in this entire field and better than the national champion average, right? IU is 11.3, national champion average 11.8. Notre Dame's sitting at 10.9. Okay. So hooray for our side. So I would like to do that comparison at the postseason wrap up. Like, where does this 2025 team end up statistically relative to, like, say 2024 last year? And whoever the new national champion is, where do they compare to that, right? So
I was just looking ahead at the schedule because I got an idea. One, I've got a question that I want you to start pondering.
Oh, I will do everything I can to be at the Miami game next year. Fuck the
Can you
Hurricanes.
believe we don't get a bye week till after October 17th?
I believe that if we start at like the
We start
first
sep-
full
we-
week of September or whatever.
Yeah, we start September 6th, and we don't get a bye week for over a month after.
Yeah. I mean, who are
Like,
all those
that is-
teams though?
Wisconsin, Rice, Michigan State, Purdue, North Carolina, Stanford, and SMU.
None of those teams scare me.
Well,
None of them scare me.
well, let's just say, like, we technically, week 1 is the Shamrock Series.
Oh, that is the Lambeau game.
Yeah, I mean,
That
that's
would be fun to
technically-
go to. I wonder if we could go to that would be fun. Maybe I could like somehow do something
we
with the
beat-
family.
We beat them 4 years ago.
That was great. We'll probably revisit
Lambeau.
that game. What is all this shit? Good God.
That didn't get out of hand until the fourth quarter.
Oh man, what a great game. Drew Pine
Within
doing
3
his
minutes.
thing, and then the
But-
fucking defense has 2 pick sixes. What a great
My
great
question-
football game.
My
the
question for
Tyree
you-
thing, the Tyree run back.
God, which
So
home game do we lose first? Rice or Michigan State?
Wait, September 6th, because then I'm seeing Rice on the 12th. I bet that's a Sunday. Here, let's go. Let's pull up a calendar here. Let's do this. Google 2026 calendar.
No, it's
September.
The 6th is Sunday, and then the 12th
Yeah,
is Saturday.
Sunday. Yeah. So we're gonna have an away game essentially at Lambeau Field
Why
on a
we couldn't do
Sunday,
that?
and then we're playing Rice. 6 days later or whatever on a
It
Saturday.
could be Rice as the first loss of the year.
Right. I mean, hey, look, I'll tell you what, I am not going to the Rice game, all right? Because we have
Hell
a
no.
bad history of losing the first home
Dude,
game.
You could get free tickets and hand them to me and tell me all ticket,
Here's a Joy slot
Hell,
pass. You're like,
flight.
no thanks.
stadium lot at Legends, all paid for.
Your hotel is at the Morris Inn, Coach. You don't want that either?
Weeks 1, 2, or 3 home games. You going? Hell no. Not the way.
Seeing
we've been.
Sparty would be good. I may go to the Purdue game because I work with a lot of Purdue people, and it's not that far. It's an easy day trip to go up to Purdue. So
Considering
that's nice.
we went, me and the family went to South Bend around
Yep.
1st of November.
Yep.
We loved the snow personally, and it wasn't anything bad. I mean,
Yeah.
State of Indiana is very good at keeping those roads clear. So
Yeah, well, you haven't seen snow in my neighborhood. I know you've been to my house, but you have not seen snow in our neighborhood. It is
I
dog
saw
shit.
the pictures you posted from
Oh,
last week.
so
with
bad.
Both your kids face down in the snow. And
No, just one of them was because he's the toddler, right? It's like up to his knees, and he doesn't understand that he's got to pick up his feet to step in snow. So he just trips when it gets 6 inches
you
tall.
snapped it at the perfect time. Right
What's
after
funny
it-
is we had this crazy wave of warm weather. All that snow is gone. There's none out there. It's just
dude, it
wet
was
and
like-
mud.
low 60s today. We had severe thunderstorms earlier.
Oh, good golly. All right, we're getting off track here talking about the weather. There is a stat piece I want to go through. We've kind of been dancing around, and I mean, is anyone else on? I think it's just us. Where the fuck is everybody? What is everybody doing? I mean, Jimmy Joe's on.
Not
So
Tuesday. It's random
well,
Thursday.
who cares? I sent it to the super secret group chat, and no one is on. So what are
Is
people?
Jay not watching? Well, he's probably been watching the Rams.
He's watching that's probably what it is, because people are watching the fucking NFL or whatever, but who cares? put me in the ear and multitask. Y'all are on your phones anyway. All right. No one from Dust Leprechauns is on either, but whatever. This is why we do the show on Tuesday, so we don't have to compete with this shit. And maybe everyone knows that it's just going to be a bitch session, which it is, about our situation. But look, the playoffs start tomorrow. A game I will not watch will be on. Oh, I will say this before I get to my big stat piece. I would like the following teams to please abuse these following teams. I would like Oklahoma to destroy Alabama and expose them as the imposters they are that do not belong in the playoffs. So please, Oklahoma, blank the Tide. Okay. Texas A&M, please destroy Miami. Fuck that team. Fuck them. Kyle Field, with all your gay cheering, I don't care. Please, Kyle Field, just take over and put Miami in their place, okay? And Ole Miss and Oregon, please destroy Tulane and James Madison because they have no business being in the playoffs. And Saban, I think, is on record saying something to the effect of this is like a AAA ball club going to the fucking Major League Baseball World Series playoffs or something. Okay? That's what this is. Okay? They have no business being there, so I hope Ole Miss and Oregon destroy both teams because they are not the top 12 in the country. So, that's that. All right, super secret stat piece. Well, it's not secret, but it's going to be what it is. All right, and we're lagging a little bit here, so we'll just kind of limp by. All right. Stats of champions is what I always talk about. There's a lot of Christmas green and red here. It's a little bit, Christmas intent. Not so much here on YouTube. What I did is I took the top 8 stats, and then I threw total offense on there because I wanted to have yards per point on there as well. So I looked at the top 8 stats plus total offense. So you got total touchdowns, scoring defense, rush defense, total defense, scoring offense, completion percentage, rushing touchdowns, and passing touchdowns, and then total offense. Now, national champions rank in these stats, and this is why they're the most important stats, other than total offense. That one's, again, kind of a wild card. National champions, total touchdowns, they rank 4.8. Scoring defense, 6.6. Rush defense, 8. Total defense, 9.4. You can see all the numbers are getting, higher. That means that they're not as important. 10.5 scoring offense, 11.5 completion percentage. These are rankings, not the actual value. I didn't look at that. Rushing touchdowns, 11.8. Passing touchdowns, 12.5. And total offense, 22.1. Okay. Take that yard points. What I did is I wanted to know where all of the 10 good teams, quote unquote, that made the playoffs, and then where was Notre Dame? And then I also threw in BYU and Texas in there just because I think BYU maybe could have gotten snubbed, if not. I will say this, 2 things right off the bat. Number 1. Oh, and then the colors, again, as a review, the colors mean, the green means that the Notre Dame row is all blue and gold through and through. All right, go Irish. The green means that Notre Dame is better than all of these other schools in that particular category. So, for example, total touchdowns, the most important stat, which is kind of a throwaway, obvious thing, but total touchdowns is the most important stat. Notre Dame ranks 3rd in the country. IU ranks 2nd in the country, so they are better. That's why it is red. And every other team is worse than Notre Dame. So it's all green. It's all good. All right. BYU is worse than Notre Dame in every single statistic. Texas, believe it or not, has 2 statistics that they're actually better than Notre Dame. Rush defense and passing touchdowns. And then you've got Texas A&M, who's also only better than Notre Dame in 2 of these statistics, total defense and passing touchdowns. right? Ole Miss, who's ranked 6th in these playoffs, is only better than Notre Dame in total offense. They're 2nd in the country in total offense, but Notre Dame is better than them in everything. So what I did is I added up all of these ranking numbers, and you get a score, and it's a golf score, right? You want your number to be low. Okay, so Notre Dame ended up with a score of 121 over these 9 statistics. The worst by far is actually not Texas. Believe it or not, it's Oklahoma. That's why I don't think Oklahoma should be ranked 8th in the country. We have the same record. Statistically, you are inferior to Notre Dame. You're ranked 90th in total offense. There's only 130 teams in the country. You're 90th in passing touchdowns as well. 80th in rushing touchdowns, 76th in completions percentage, 78th in scoring offense. You're 89th, the most important stat. Total touchdowns, you're 89th in the country. Really bad. Okay. Now, you are good at defense. So well done, Oklahoma. And defense does win championships. Okay, I guess. I guess if you blank everybody, then, hooray for you. You only need a field goal to win. You are 7th in scoring defense, 5th in rush defense, and 9th in total defense. Okay, the only 3 stats you're better than Notre Dame in. Okay. So what does this come down to? When I add up all those scores and then I then rank the teams appropriately by actual numbers on the fucking field, Notre Dame ends up 5th of this group. Number 1 is IU. Number 2 is Texas Tech. 3, Ohio State. 4, Oregon. 5, Notre Dame. Then it goes Miami, which kind of burns my ass a little bit, but Miami's decent. Then Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, then Alabama, and then BYU and Texas. So this is why I don't think Alabama should be in the playoffs. I think that Notre Dame should have been in, and Miami should have been in as well, under the current format in which it is. Because I think Miami is a better team than Alabama. I think Notre Dame also should be ranked ahead of Oklahoma and a few other teams that have the same record. We mentioned offensive yards per point. Notre Dame is better than everybody in the statistic, which is why I was so excited about the end of the season, and then it gets ripped away from us, so that sucks. The defense is a little lacking, so back to Coach Parsegian's point, where's the defense and Chris Ash as his future at Notre Dame live? I don't know. Notre Dame was killing people at the end, but maybe that's a function of the offense clicking, and a good offense can hide a lot of sins on your defense. I don't know. We'll have to do that side-by-side comparison with more objective eyes come January, maybe even February. So, but that's what I wanted to go through. I wanted to understand, where does Notre Dame fit relative to all these other teams statistically, and is there an argument for Notre Dame beyond everything we've already said? And of course the answer is yes. Okay. Like you can't hide from facts and data. You can't hide from the fact that national champions on average over the last 10 years are doing well in these statistics, and Notre Dame is doing pretty well in those fucking statistics too. So, Coach, do you have a response, a rebuttal?
Besides that random walk-on 5th string quarterback that's entering the transfer portal, who is it on the defensive side of the ball that we're really losing that's gonna hurt?
I have not seen anything crazy on the defensive side that we are losing. I have not done a scrub of the roster. I have not been paying attention. I mean, I know Minchie is entering the transfer portal, so good luck to him. But we all know Carr is going to be back and killing it next year and going to be even better. Love obviously is leaving. Price is leaving. I saw Eli Reardon, I think today for the first time. is leaving for the NFL. So respect to those 3 guys going to the draft. But I really don't know anyone else. Like is there some O lineman? I know
mean,
the
our
D
tight
lineman.
end, the tight end position this year has kind of been a massive void, and our running game was so good.
Well, it's kind of a good thing, right? Like, it was always the security blanket of, throw it to the tight end, like Tyler Eifert, the national championship game of 2012, 2013. It's like, when in doubt, Tyler Eifert, save us, like maybe that's a good thing that the tight end is
Yeah, this is
it's a good safety valve. It shouldn't be the cornerstone of the church. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is the first year in a long while the tight end position has been relatively quiet.
Yeah. I think maybe if you went back to like that 2014, 2015 era with, Golson and Kaiser, and you had Will Fuller and those guys, the tight end kind of got a little quiet there with, I don't know, who was it, like Troy Nicholas maybe or somebody?
The way things have been the last 3-4 years, I genuinely try to forget the.
Losing something. Did we lose Coach? We might be getting killed by Twitter here. The internet is getting laggy too, so that kind of sucks as well. All right, well, we are an hour and a half in. I think X is gonna kill us here, which is what it is. But look, I wish our guys well who are going to the draft. Obviously, selfishly, I would like you to stay, not only to get your degree, but I enjoy watching you play football at Notre Dame. But I also understand your career aspirations wanting to play professional ball. And we have shown time and time again that these guys come back and they do finish and get their degree. Or maybe these guys already got their degree. I don't know. It's a different world we live in now. It would be my hope that we could I was kind of hoping Price would stay maybe. Just because I think he still has one more year of eligibility, but I'm not sure about that. We'll see. But look, I wish these guys the best, and that is what it is. I guess that's all we can talk about now is recruiting and development of our players, and because we're on the sidelines, we got snubbed from the playoffs. We got screwed. Notre Dame got fucking screwed. Okay, and it's horrible. It's terrible. I don't like it, and I will not be watching the playoffs. I won't. I really don't care. It's kind of like in basketball. Like, I'll watch Gonzaga basketball, but when they lose, do I really watch the Natty? Like, maybe a little bit, not really. But I'm so bitter at ESPN and this committee and what they did to Notre Dame and the way they went about doing it. There's no reason on God's green earth why Alabama should be in there. Okay. Alabama, let's jump over here real quick. Okay. Miami, maybe I could see the argument if you want to do the head-to-head. But then why the fuck were they so far behind Notre Dame, 5 weeks ago? And then they started creeping them in closer and closer and closer. And then they do the switcheroo when both teams are idle while Notre Dame has looked good every single fucking game. So it doesn't make sense. It is a complete screw job by them. Notre Dame is better than Alabama in most of these stats in 6 of the 9. Only passing touchdowns, total defense, and scoring defense, Alabama is better. Notre Dame has a better yards per point. They have a better defensive yards per point, okay? And Notre Dame is sitting at 121. Alabama's 298 in these 9 statistics, okay? So no, Alabama is not a better team than Notre Dame. They're just flat out not, okay? They're not even a better team than Miami. Okay, they shouldn't be in the fucking playoffs. Are they better than BYU? Probably are. Yeah, they are. But so it's such horse shit. And maybe that's what we should have titled the show. Alabama is horse shit. No. It's Catholics versus committees, man. And I don't know who made the shirt. I saw on X, maybe it was some of our ex Twitter people, whatever. If anyone's making Catholics versus Committee shirt, I almost wanted to buy one. Catholics versus Conferences actually sounds even better based off of the shit talking people have done towards me. But yes, Notre Dame joining a conference. No, that's like the United States adopting the metric system. There's no point, right? We don't have to. Just because you say we have to fit in with everybody else. That's dumb. That's all I got. So, yeah, we won't go out with something sad. But I think we're just going to go out because, we're just kind of fading away into the nothing. And Notre Dame is not nothing, but that's what this season is. It's just ripped away and it's done. And there's nothing we can do about it except bitch and moan like we have tonight. And kind of just put a bow on things. So playoffs start tomorrow, and you all do whatever the fuck you want, but I will not be watching. So sayonara. Thank you, everyone, for joining the Fighting Irish Faithful show on X, on Dose Leprechauns Media, powered by Scotch and Spreadsheets very much tonight. And I wanted to do the statistical piece of Notre Dame versus everybody else, which is a contributing reason why this show is coming out so late. So thank you for your patience, all our loyal people. All right, good night, go Irish, and Merry Christmas. So long.